Welcome to the third contest that we're putting up. We're starting to have our houses up here. And all of this is related to the what we call advanced framing or optimum engineering, which is how do you build houses with the least amount of material and still have a good solid house that performs. So if you haven't been here earlier, there's a lot of little framing details here that cut out a lot of wood, including the OSB or the plywood. So we're using that diagonal bracing and all that. Now we're using non-structural sheathing to go over the top. That's what we call this stuff when it's not strong enough to actually hold the wall. And so it goes on as sheathing, but it's non-structural, whereas the OSB or the plywood is structural sheathing. And so we have to have structure someplace, so we did it with the 1x4 let-in, or you could do it with metal straps. There are lots of other possibilities to do the same thing, get to the same place. But now this opens up the door to allow us to use material that doesn't hold the house up. And it does just its job of insulation. Now, of course, we'll eventually have fiberglass back in here, but we get insulation on the outside that covers all the wood. That's always very good. Plus, then it becomes the weather barrier. And so you'll still have siding over the top, but this actually can be installed as long as you tape the joints without Tyvek, Type, or house wrap. So it becomes the air barrier. And then on the inside, you can have your vapor barrier. You were all at that meeting on Tuesday where there's a lot of talk about that. And so this step is actually quite easy. The thing that we want to do is make sure that a few little details are carefully taken care of. Now, in your books, if you turn to page 19, you'll get on the instructions for this particular set. And what we've got here is that, if I can find my pencil here, you get any flare on that, huh? There we go. Does that get rid of it? Okay. So some of the important details, we're going to show you 2 layers of foam. You could do one single layer of foam, ideally thicker than 1 inch, but you could put on just one. And particularly if it was 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and then do it the way we do the first layer. We're doing 2 layers just to show you that if you do use 2 layers, because maybe that's the only foam you have available, is that you want to stagger the joints and you want to actually seal both layers as you're coming through. So if you look at the drawings in the book on page 19, you'll see that the way the foam comes in is that we don't allow the joint between the first and the second layer to line up with each other. So whether it's the joint here, the second panel is not a full panel on the bottom. We put a partial panel and then go up. And that way we overlap the horizontal joint. Okay? That also goes a step further in making it all weatherproof. This has a shiplap, which helps. The shiplap has to go in the proper direction so that if any water does want to get in here, it comes back out. If we turn the shiplap upside down, water coming in would find its way by gravity up through to the back side. So the shiplap is always set up so that we come over the top like that, just like we do with shingles and anything else, tongue and groove boards. So that is laid out like that. Now in the corners, we have a little bit of a detail to do, is that because these panels come with a shiplap all the way around the edge, when we go to butt into a corner, we've got to cut the shiplap off, because otherwise it's not going to be complete foam all the way into the corner. So the first board you put on here, and you could come up and look at the stage if you want to see it, is the first board over here. We just easily slice off that little tiny bit of foam. That is the overhang. And that way we get a square butt into the joint. And then when this one comes up and butts into it, the same thing, so that we actually get a good tight joint in there as you're putting these things together. The outside corner, they're staggered so that this joint here is actually covered by the foam here. And then there's another joint over there. As opposed to putting them in such a way that they might have the same joint all the way through. Fairly simple. You use nails with large plastic washers. These are foam insulation nails that you're going to put on, and the length of the nail is somewhat related to the thickness of the foam. Because we're going to strap this wall for siding afterwards, we don't have to do too much about these nails. They're really there to hold until you get to the next step, and so which is something you have to do before the wind blows it off. So if you're in a windy day you don't do the whole house and then come back and strap it. You're going to do a little bit and strap it and a little bit and strap it just to keep everything in place. Otherwise, you're going to get into trouble. But we really only need, let's say, 3 nails in a 4-foot field or 2 nails in a 2-foot field. And so that's what we're putting on. So what you're going to be doing, and it's written in the book there, is the first layer we put a full 4-foot piece in. Make sure it butts into the corner well. The second one, because you have short walls, we'll add on right up to the top of that double header, and that'll only be about 2 feet. So then you cut that off and then bring the extra piece down to the bottom, which starts the next layer with only a 2-foot piece. And then we can put a 4-foot piece and go on up. So I think you have enough foam at least to do all the way up once and then part way up the second time. Maybe you can go further than that, depending on how much foam you've got available. But it looks like we got quite a bit of it there. Okay? And that's all we're doing in this one. The next one, we're going to be putting on the strapping and working on the bug screen and stuff like that. So, all the contestants, let's get up. Find yourself a station for working here. And if you need the details, bring that book with you. Now, what you're going to need to locate the deal is, make sure you can find your utility knife for cutting the foam, tape measure, hammer, and the ring nails, and the tape, the red tape. Now, when we're putting red tape on, let's talk about that for just a minute before we actually get into this. This is sticky junk, and it sticks to your fingers more than to anything else. So it's kind of hard to really get on right. And what you really want to work at, and just because you got a lot of time to do this, we want you to do the taping carefully. Okay? And so when you go to do a joint, what we don't want is that the tape comes up and starts looking like this as it goes across. Okay? We don't want that, because that's going to leak. You're going to have trouble pushing that down really flat and making sure no water is going to get through it. So you want to get that tape, get it in there, and work at pulling it along and actually getting it very flat as you go. And it's not as easy as it looks to get that smooth in there. And a little bit harder is to get this inside corner. Okay? So I warn you, you got to work harder at that and try it, because we don't need to do a lot of the tape. So if you need to waste a little bit of tape, go ahead and waste it. Let's get it right. And so it's a really nice joint, because we tend to just sort of try to smooth it all down afterwards. Oh, by the way, once you've managed to get your tape working, don't forget to, instead of letting go of it, bend the corner over or something so that you can actually find the edge on the roll for the next piece, because otherwise it's really hard to get off the roll. So then as you go back, then you have to cut off a little bit and move it on up. So the tape is going to be a bit of a complication that we're going to, because we got time, we want you to do it really well. Okay, do we have in each of our sections here what you need? Found your tape? Why don't you open that tape up, get your knife. You need the ring nails. You got your ring nails over here, and your styrofoam is all the way out there. You might want to bring some sheets of your styrofoam around, lean them up on the stage here. They've got styrofoam sitting back over there. You've got all styrofoam on the wall. Well, that's a good idea. Pull that out and get some room to work. And so we're going to styrofoam like on the stage, all the way around the 2 corners, inside and outside corner. Now, when you're cutting the foam, don't cut it on the floor, because we don't want to cut the rug. Okay, so figure out how to cut that otherwise, either on a board or up on the wall, and don't cut yourself if your leg is on the other side of the foam, or your partner. All right, I guess I should get a hat like you guys and do this right. Now, we don't really need glasses this time around, although you've got them there, because we're not nailing anything, nothing's flying, but it's as you like. You've got all your material? You're all set? How we doing? The material back there, you guys all lined up? Everybody's got the stuff you need, your tape measure, your knife, you found all that? Is anybody not set up? You're all right back in the corner? Okay, in the first station. Okay, any questions before we get started? All clear? fairly simple one. Let's throw a clock up there. Give them 20 minutes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We're looking for details in the corners. We're looking for nice clean cuts. You've got a handsaw there to cut. You've got your X-Acto knife to cut. You've got wood to give you straight edges. Lots of things that can work. So do it as neat as you can, because remember, every place you make a lousy cut, the cold wants to come through. And it wants to freeze your house. So these cuts become important. Now you always have a big question of which way should it go? And if you ask Dow Chemical, they'll tell you the name has to go on the outside. Okay, that's because they have to sell more styrofoam. So they want you to see it. You don't have to put it on the outside, but if you ask Dow, they'll say that it has to go on the outside. There was a rumor many years ago that Tyvek had to be placed in a certain direction, that the moisture only moved in one direction. That was started by a Tyvek rep that wanted to make sure you could read his name on the side of this thing. The one nice thing about the foam, it doesn't make much noise when you're doing this. Now there is an interesting problem with foam and siding. It's possible to put siding right directly over the foam without the strapping if you want to. The only problem when you do that is it squeaks all day long. And that little squeak, 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 all over the house. Drive you absolutely crazy. So if you either want strapping or at least Tyvek to stop the squeak. Now here we're working with everything on 24-inch centers because that's the framing that we're showing. This could, of course, do the same thing up on 16-inch centers. So you don't need a lot of those nails, but let's put 3 in each stud. And that's basically just to keep the wind from blowing it off while you're working. Now, as you can see on our house on the stage, if you had a real foundation under this, we bring the foam down a little bit below the floorboards, down into the part below it, so that, again, the joint is covered. In fact, we try to cover as much as we can on the outside. And that foam needs to just dimple in flat so that the next layer can go on right. Now, the nice thing about that saw is it'll cut both pushing and pulling. So if you want a cleaner cut, just cut on the pull cut over where he is, and it won't make all those chips on the outside. So go easy, go smooth, because you'll find out later, when you do a lousy cut, it makes a wave, and the cold comes through. Now, if you're working a lot with styrofoam and you really made a mess, you missed something by a ½ inch, you can cheat with the foam in a can and fill it in. Okay? It sticks really well, and it's just like the foam itself. Cut on the pull. Cut on the pull, and you'll find out it pulls the board back to you. Just slide in on the push, and then cut on the pull. That's right. When you pull, go down, and then go in without cutting, and then come back. And you'll find that it's a lot easier because the cut is happening with the board pulled tight. You see? That's the nice thing about those Japanese teeth on the saw. Yeah, you got to cut that off. Push it up there, but keep your hand away from his cut. He's over there. You can't see where he is. If ever you need to be safe when he's doing that, put a board up there instead of your hand. Be careful cutting through. Don't cut your partner on the other side of the board. Yeah, take that down. You can snap it. That'll probably snap if you work together. So you can snap it like drywall. Need a hammer?
I'm just going to put a brace.
Ah, now that's a smart thing. Slice, slice, slice. Now it's really hard to do that inside corner. You might need two people to work on it because it doesn't want to stay in the right place. That's it. Hunt for the center, yeah. Push in the center. Good. You don't want to hit his fingers with your hammer, and you don't want his knife to get through to you. Take care of your partner. Now, a lot of guys like to cut their styrofoam with a circular saw because it's the way to get the most square cut. If you really want a nice butt edge, particularly an 1.5 inch thick, huh? It's just a lot of dust. Okay. Foam insulation, or any insulation on the outside of the house, is the most efficient of all our insulations because it covers every piece of wood. The wood itself is a thermal bridge, and an awful lot of the wall is wood. When we go 24-inch centers, less of it is wood than on 16. But a lot of energy is lost through those studs. So by covering it over, in fact, the Quebec Building Code will not allow you to build a house anymore without insulation either on the inside or the outside. But you can't build a house with it just in the stud cavity. It's no longer permitted in Quebec. And when you do it on the outside, of course, it covers all the floor joints and everything else and all the partition walls. Whereas when you do it on the inside, you stop at every partition wall. And you stop the floor and you stop the ceiling. Oh, now you got to cut that down both directions, huh? Put this up there, and then you don't cut your hand. He can't get you that way. Move it along. A little high there. Don't you wish you could just move your house that way? 3 booths are finished, that's over.
Okay, everyone
So
stops.
everyone stops when we get 3 booths finished, because our time is arbitrary. We don't, so I'm changing the rules again. We say when 3 booths are finished, that's the end.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Sounds great. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Okay, we got one group here is getting pretty close to meeting our time deadline, but since I love changing the rules in the middle of a contest, we've just decided with the judges that what we're going to do is let you keep on going until 3 booths are finished, and then it's all over. When 3 booths have done all the work, but we take note of who finished first, but when 3 booths are done all the work, that's when we'll call an end to it. You're better off to work on doing the bottom layer all the way around rather than bothering too much on that upper one. Okay, don't do any more on the upper layer. Just concentrate on getting your bottom one all the way around. Because you won't even have enough foam to go all the way over and everything. So get that bottom one all the way around and taped. So you got to come out here and come over there. You better dust that off first. Okay, you're moving along. It totally bent on you, huh? Yeah. You stick pretty well.
It's not windy though.
It's not windy down there? No?
There's no wind. They don't need the
So time down. Time has gone away. Okay. Okay. Oh, you're getting the bottom one done too. Finish those 2 pieces and get that taped in the corners and you're done. We got 2 of them almost finished. You got to get your 2 side ones done or you're falling behind.
Who's promoting this kind of project?
Who's promoting this type of what? There's nobody in particular. It's developed over a number of years, called advanced framing or optimum engineering, and it was designed. How do we still make sturdy, proper houses by using less material? Because over the years, what happens is we have habits that form. So, like for instance, when we first went from 2x4 to 2x6, why did we go to 2x6? We wanted more insulation. So what did we do? We didn't think. We just made it fatter. And all of a sudden we had a 2x6 wall. And even the insulation levels could have more easily been built. In fact, the analysis we made way back in, what was it, 1990, was that a 2x4 wall with R12 insulation plus 1.5 inches of styrofoam on the outside was 10% more efficient and 10% less expensive than a 2x6 wall. It was better and cost less. So it was like, duh, we went by 2x6 just because we took an old habit and made it fatter. And now we want even higher insulation levels. Why? Because heating costs are higher. So we want that 2x6 insulation, but now we're not making it 2x8 or 2x10 walls. That's ridiculous. So we're moving back to the other one. So you do have to be careful in this particular type of framing that you do things right, particularly if you want a single header on the top. All the load has to line up with each one of those joists. Otherwise, you go a double header like this, and the load can carry between the joists. And so, as Chris recommended yesterday in his seminar, he says the first house you build, leave it with a double header. And try to line up your joists, and what you'll do is you'll learn how to line up the joists. But it doesn't matter because you have a double header. And then the next one, when you've really got, you know, the biggest mistake that's made is they build the wall on one side, and then they build the wall on the other side the same way, except they forgot to turn it around so that it started at the same place on both sides, which meant that all the studs would be in the same line. And when you got it all up and then you're looking at it and say, oh my God, you know, and if you've planned on it to be a wall that's actually carrying that whole load, you're in trouble. So that's why Chris has really good recommendations. First house you want to build with 24-inch centers, keep the double header until you know you can line everything up. And then after that, if you want to, you can even cut back and make it simpler and simpler. But there's nobody in particular promoting this. It's out there, it's proven, it's engineered, but you've got to deal with the details.
This kind of construction is out there already?
Oh yeah, it's out there. We've been doing this for many years in certain areas, and some builders have done it on a tract basis. The funniest story I have about this is when some fellows from CMHC went to Czechoslovakia to help them with building, and they built a Canadian house in Czechoslovakia. And they built it like this, with just styrofoam sheathing and everything. And when they got halfway done, the contractors all sat back, the Czechoslovakian contractors, they sat back and they looked at it. You know how you build houses in Europe. It's all masonry or solid concrete. And so these guys looked at it and says, but what stops the bullets? Wrong climate. Wrong climate. Okay, are we getting close to having some of these done? These guys, we're missing a piece over here, huh? On the bottom. They're almost done. Oh, they're going all the way up. Give me that bottom piece and we'll call you done. Right over here. How are you guys coming in? Well, you're getting in on the bottom there. They're coming along. Oh, looks like we might almost be finishing over here. Okay, he's got that up. Okay, don't bother too much with going up high. Let's get the bottom row done all the way around. Yeah. Don't put any more up here. Just give me the other bottom one.
The other bottom?
Let's finish the bottom. And you finish the bottom, finish the tape. You got to put some more nails in here. But finish the bottom, finish the taping, and then we'll call it done. Just work on the bottom. Don't go up higher. Come on, let's get this one across here. Oh, we got 3 almost coming up to close to being called finished. That's the criteria. As soon as we got 3, we're going to stop it. Oh, you guys could get in there if you hustle. Last piece going in over here. Last piece coming in down here. Give me that bottom piece and I'll be happy. Get that shiplap in the right direction, please. Turn that shiplap around. Turn that shiplap around. Yeah, like that. No, because if you put it in like that, your shiplap's in the wrong way. The water will go into the wall. So let's turn it this way. We want it to come out. You see how the water will come? If it's coming down, it's going to go out. So you cut that one off, not the other side. That's coming up. You guys got one more piece here. Come on, let's get this one piece up here. We've got a whole bunch of them that are almost. You get your taping done and I'll call you finished. Another one. That one's not working again?
It's
Stalled. There it is. Okay. Got a little wheel on the top that locks it. Okay. They're getting real close here. This guy's missing the one on the bottom. They're working over there. Hey, they're actually getting along pretty well on the corner. Up here, how we doing? We getting this last corner in? Okay, we need a couple of nails over here and some more tape. Okay, you guys are almost going to finish this up. These guys could get, if you get this one up quick there, you're going to be right up with the rest of them. Okay. That's coming in. You need two around there. Yeah, they're coming along. You're not far. Hit it on the bottom. And get your tape on there. Get your tape on there. We're going to be, oh no, you got a couple of nails in that guy. Now you notice this guy got nailing back behind it if you take a look. This one you can nail, there's a stud back there. Oh, one more joint and they're going to be the first one done. Just pull, oh yeah, you can pull a lot of extra and then cut off the extra later. You're getting that all over yourself. This guy is finally getting good at corners. You're going to have to teach us all how do you do your corners. You feel like you're mastering it a bit? You started with little pieces, and now you're going all the way up. Oh, you got maybe too confident? You want a step ladder? How we doing here? Oh, they're coming up with that joint. Get your tape on and you'll be done, guys. You got a chance to be the first one. Getting close. We're real tight between you and the guys in the corner. How we doing over here? They still got their joints to do. Oh, you got to wait till they say that they're happy with their tape tight, like this little bubble here that I don't like. Yeah, I get sticky about that because water goes in those bubbles, you see, and you leave it like that, the water goes in, moisture goes in, that never sticks. Make sure this all pushed down tight. You got it? We're going to declare yours done?
Yep.
You guys got the first one done. There we got one done. You guys coming in? 3 seconds later, there they got the second one done. Coming along, we got two done. This guy has now got this on the leg for the rest of his life. So we got two of those done. And this one's coming along really close. Make sure your tape is down tight, guys. Make sure your tape is tight. Come on, let's get this last piece one on and we'll be at the end of the whole thing. You got to get this last one thrown in here. Does this one go? It's not big enough. There you go. Put that in and we'll be happy. You got a bloody hole in there. Just cut it straight. You got to cut it straight. Just cut that. Get a nice straight cut on there. How you doing? Oh, you're getting into the final taping. This guy's not nailed in, is it? And we're getting there. Huh?
Try to find the other judge.
Okay, you're going to be the third one if you can get that in and tape it. Let's get the judges out of the way here so these guys can work. There you go. So you got to cut the tongue off or something on there? Or?
Oh yeah, look. You gotta wait.
Hold it.
The end there.
Let's bring this up tighter like that.
There's
Okay. No, but you don't want the lip sticking out that way.
Cut the back side there, and then we'll flip the board around.
Okay. You guys done? Almost. Don't tell me you're going to get ahead of the guys that were almost finished over there. You might be the third one. That's not really serious. What I really wanted is to get the, well, you should have that up, but that's all right.
those braces on 24 by 36. How far do they have to be apart?
45 degrees, okay, in terms of the bracings, and then at least one every 24 feet. So if you're more than 24 feet, it's going to take a second one. But you could put one right in the middle of the wall, nothing ends. You can put it on one end, put it on the other end, you know, so you can work with your doors and windows by that. So you can place it just about wherever you need to place it. But if you go as much as 24 feet, it takes a second brace. Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that went in awful easy. All these guys are going to just, if you can get this taped up, you're going to beat those other guys. You got to get through it though. Not easy, is it? Now push it hard, get the wrinkles out. You got the tape up there? That's our third wall. We're all done. Took a lot longer than I thought, but it's all done. So we'll give it off to the judges now. Get that on before the judges get over here. Okay, it's in the hands of the judges. So have you figured out all the details of this thing? Actually, if you want to chat with Chris, Chris is, well, he was standing over there a little while ago. Chris, come here. Pascal Spence. Pascal is very interested in all your techniques on this framing.
Okay.
Fill him in. Let him eat him up. screech. You're trying to put it in the mic. What we really need is while the judges are running around that we get the drum corps in here doing their thing like a drum roll going on for about 5 minutes while the judges do their judging. Good show, guys. Gentlemen, do we have a result? What are you looking for? Cell phone that was here? Yeah, I did see one earlier that was there. You didn't get it back, huh? Not there. I saw that, yeah, it had a big case with a hook on it, huh? So, what's going on?
Nikki.
Which is that? This one here?
This one here.
Okay. And it's Nikki is the where they're from or what?
It's Nikki Christomatic Canning or something like that. Nikki Christomatic Canning.
Okay. Nikki. Okay. And you gave them all 10s right across the board.
All the fasteners on.
It was all on there. Okay, we have a decision from the judges here now. As we came through, we got 3 of them done in pretty good time. 2 of them still finishing off. And so, but the one that got actually 10s all the way across for speed, accuracy, technique, and team spirit was Nikki right here. Nikki, where are you? Where's your partner? Working his way through. I told you that if you kept at this, you were going to win one of these times, right? He's been in every one so far. Good show, good show. You guys get toolboxes. There we go. Thank you. Now, 3 o'clock, which isn't so long, half an hour from now, we'll do the last one where we'll be strapping on and even this bug screen that gets rid of bats and other things on there, and we'll take a little bit of look at the vinyl siding. So we'll see you at 3 o'clock. Do we have enough people signed up for 3 o'clock? I'm not sure. You're all set? Get in there. So if you're interested in participating in the last one, see our man here. Thank you. See you in a few minutes.